Greetings, God of Gold, back again with another video. Today's video is going to be discussing a topic that I haven't seen or discussed, or pretty much it wasn't relevant of a topic since pretty much the start of this channel. This channel was, well, the most views that I've ever seen in my channel was a short that I made several years ago called Legend of the Guardians 2 for 2020. Now, I know what you guys are saying. It's long overdue. Well, first of all, I just want to make it clear that I have not made anything of that. I'm not responsible for it. That was just a theory. But of course, at the time, it was more of like a silly theory. It wasn't anything serious, but it does still beg the question. Could a second film like this manifest? The problem is that, I'm going to say it bluntly, it's not likely anytime soon. Why I say this is because in the past years of Zack Snyder's work, he was working on DC for a while, at least up until around 2021, where he made it was The Flash, then Aquaman 2, and then after that he stopped. But his last greatest hit with DC was 2021, the Snyder Cut for Justice League. That film was better than the original because back in 2017, because of its bombing, a lot of contracts were pretty much expunged. Henry Cavill was almost done away as Superman at the time. So was Ben Affleck as Batman, and so on and so forth. They were going to scrap the entire thing. But they brought it back. They tried reworking it. And they have done a decent job following the Justice League's first release back in 2017. With the 2018 films, there were, I think, 2 films. The first Wonder Woman and the first Aquaman. Both films were pretty well received, especially Aquaman, which exploded past $1 billion, which was amazing. Now, the problem with these decisions when it comes to Warner Bros. Warner Bros., I'm going to have to say, is not like Disney, where it's corrupted by all this woke culture. But Warner Bros. Isn't necessarily much better in terms of, let's say, story arcs as well as writing. I mean, there are some one-hit wonders they can do, because when they made the first Aquaman, that was explosive. Then when the Snyder Cut came out, that was really good. Then when they made the second Aquaman and the Flash, especially also the second Wonder Woman, something started to cave in. And I wonder if it was pressure from Zack Snyder. He could have faced burnout. I don't know. Honestly, his over-reliance on slow motion has really ruined a good amount of films, I've noticed. Especially, which was it? He made a film a couple years ago. I forget the name. Comment down below if you remember. But this film was abundantly slow-mo. And a lot of people hated that. And Zack Snyder pretty much lost his edge following the Justice League and the DC extended universe. Now, we come to this. Now that he is no longer working on a mainstream title, such as Warner Bros., he is potentially looking for work elsewhere. Now, I can't speak for him to say that he will make a second one. No. I don't know if he's going to make another one. I mean, I could keep up with those reports. If you guys want, please comment down below. But the problem is that the likelihood of a sequel to Legend of the Guardians is very small. And I wanted to run by some information of the past few years. Just, it kind of gives you a clue or indication as to how likely it could be. Because his style is very distinctive. His first, I think, ever film hit, now correct me if I'm wrong, was probably 300 back in 2006 or 7. That film was his first major hit. There was a sequel to that, which wasn't as good, but it was still a solid film. 300 Rise of an Empire. But, like, it was an okay film. It wasn't, like, the first time, which is expected. Sequels aren't typically seen as good as the first, unless, of course, if it's something like Kung Fu Panda or Terminator 2, basically. Terminator 2 was debatably the best sequel of all time. But of course, there are other examples, but they're not common, basically. But I'm getting off track. So, a sequel to Legend of the Guardians. Now, you're probably wondering, what the hell is this going to be like? Will Cludd be the new, as they call, Metalbeak? Because now has probably a scar across his face following a disastrous fire that took place when he was fighting his brother Soren. Now Soren, he went on to become a Guardian, of course, but Cludd is left. Cludd is like the Anakin Skywalker of that whole thing, which I guess is a funny comparison now thinking about it. But yeah, Cludd, I don't know what he's gonna do for the next one. I mean, I would assume that the Pure Ones would try to get revenge for the death of the old Metalbeak. It's very hard to say what will happen, or let alone if the sequel will happen. The likelihood chance of there ever being a sequel within the next maybe 5 years or maybe even 10 years is next to maybe 10%. Why I say 10% is because there's still a small chance that Zack Snyder can turn around and say, I want to make a sequel of this. Which, if he does, then, well, that's your information right there. But other than that, he has not confirmed anything, but he also has not denied anything. Therefore, if he hasn't denied it, it's technically not off the table. But if he has not announced it, that means it's not happening at the moment, or at least anytime soon. So, there's a lot of speculation and rumors that he will do it. The video I posted years ago was all about that whole thing with, it was a silly theory, but looking back on it, I mean, it kind of made sense, and I could see why probably it exploded in views. But overall, I hate to disappoint, but I don't know if there's going to be a sequel anytime soon. So if you are expecting a sequel, you are in for a very long, boring, and painful wait. Sorry about that. But if you want me to cover news on this, if you want me to cover news on Legend of the Guardians 2, if it ever is in the works, or if you want me to, get some information on Zack Snyder, or pretty much anything that would help the likelihood of this franchise possibly return after over 15 or more years, please comment down below. Hit that subscribe button so that you don't miss a new video from me, because of course you will miss them if you don't hit subscribe and that bell notification. I again do apologize for disappointing that there won't be a sequel right now, but we'll keep our fingers crossed at the very least. I'm sure some of you will as well. So have a good day. God of Gold is out.